This week on the Rebel Report, we get back on the courts for the season opener of both men and women's basketball. Over on the fields, we got some record-breaking action from Rebel football as the game against Wyoming went into triple overtime. In soccer, both women and men win conference titles and qualify for the NCAA Tournament. We travel with the ladies to Provo, Utah to see their game firsthand. And volleyball continues its amazing season. Coach Cindy Fredrick will join us for this week's Rebel Report Timeout. The show begins right now.
Welcome to Studio F on the campus of UNLV for the latest edition of the Rebel Report. I'm Haley Brooks.
And I'm Cassie Soto. Thanks to all of you who are tuning in on KCLV Channel 2, Facebook Live, and our YouTube channel. At this point, I think we all need a break from this political talk. So let's talk about something that matters a lot more to us, sports. On November 12th, Rebel fans were treated to one of the highest scoring football games of all time. UNLV competed for a much-needed win against one of the top teams in the Mountain West, Wyoming, in a record-breaking game. In a game dedicated to all the United States servicemen and women, the Rebels came out hungry for a win over the Cowboys. What started as an average back-and-forth game turned into a nail-biter down to the last seconds. A 34-yard run from freshman Jericho Flowers in the first quarter put the Rebels up 10-3 on the Cowboys. Wyoming countered with a 6-yard run, tying up the game 10-10. The game would go on to be a chess match between the two teams for the next 3 quarters, and a 75-yard run from junior QB Kurt Palandek and a 2-point conversion from freshman Elijah Trosclair would give the Rebels a lead of 52-45 with 10 minutes left in regulation. The Cowboys would go on to respond with a touchdown of their own and force the game into overtime. Both teams were unwilling to give up, forcing the game into a triple overtime showdown. And it would be a 41-yard field goal from senior kicker Nico Bornand that gave the Rebels a 69-66 win over the Cowboys. Head coach Tony Sanchez was thrilled for the win, but would have been okay if the guys pulled it off during regulation play.
I mean, your back starts to seize up, and we'd had the greatest false start penalty in the history of football. It was an emotional roller coaster. It's one of those deals where you're just trying to make one more play than they do. You know what I'm saying? And it was, it's tough. I'd rather not be in overtime. That's a lot of points, and that was really, really long. So no, I'm glad. You know what? I'm thankful we came out on top. That's a heck of a win against, again, a good football team, and a lot of adversity. I mean, that was tough for the fans, right, and for us. So it was good. Good win for the Rebels.
The 135-point game is the highest combined score in UNLV and Mountain West history. It's also the 3rd highest scoring game in NCAA history. Now, the Rebels and its high-scoring offense will head to the Smurf turf and take on Boise State Friday, November 18th.
And the quarterback position is arguably the most important position in football,
Definitely.
if not all of sports. So this upcoming season, the UNLV team did not expect how their quarterback position would be bringing them such challenges.
After having 3 different quarterbacks in the starting lineup this season, the Rebels feel confident going forward with their new starting QB. First, it was Johnny Stanton, then Dalton Snead, and now Kurt Palandek. The Rebels have had 3 different quarterbacks in the starting lineup this season after Johnny Stanton went down with a knee injury in September, and they changed to the rotation between Snead and Palandek, which occurred during the San Jose State game on October 29, where the Rebels came up short 24-30. But after a huge win in triple overtime against an undefeated Mountain West Wyoming team, Palandek showed he was ready to step in.
I'm definitely pleased how the game ended up. There were some mistakes out there, but overall I think as an offense we played a lot better than we have before, and I'm just going to continue to try to make the most of my opportunities I get, and it wasn't a perfect game, but it's a win, and that's all I was trying to do.
Palandek started 3 games last season and also helped UNLV beat UNR, but he lost the starting quarterback battle during fall camp and later on suffered a couple of injuries. But Coach Sanchez believes that Palandek was going to be ready once his name was called.
He's a stud. I mean, he's just a trooper. I mean, at the end of the day, he did some really good things for us last year. Came in, helped us win the Cannon, did some really great things, and again, we're still trying to find ourselves. So to come into the year and he's got partial tear in his bicep, partial tear in his rotator cuff, losing the starting job, seeing Johnny go in, and then when we had an opportunity to make the next decision, it wasn't him. That can easily get a guy down.
Palandek finished the game against Wyoming with 252 passing yards and 155 rushing yards, giving Coach Sanchez confidence going into the final games of the regular season.
I tell you what, man, he's what America and what football is all about. Guys that don't get down, guys that go to work, they don't make excuses, they don't point fingers, they show up every day, they punch in their time card, and they get paid at the end. And he got a big payday today.
Palandek might have not expected to start this season, but when his name was called, he was ready to take on his new role and lead the team. For the Rebel Report, I'm Luis Negrete.
Now, Johnny Stanton is cleared to play, but his mobility will be limited, keeping Palandek as the main option.
Basketball season is officially underway as the Runnin Rebels played their first game of the Marvin Menzies era on November 11th. The season opener featured 9 new players on the roster. How'd they do in one game? Joanne Mendoza was there and has more.
The Runnin Rebels opened up their season on November 11th against South Alabama with new head coach Marvin Menzies. The Rebels trailed the Jaguars for what seemed to be most of the game, especially during the second half. Chris Jones led UNLV with 20 points and 13 rebounds, while Jalen Poyser had 17 points. However, it was number 10, Georgie Boyanoff from South Alabama, that had a hot hand that night, shooting 3 three-pointers, totaling 13 points in the second half. The Rebels lost 76-68. Christian Jones and Chris Clyburn discussed their final thoughts.
Oh yeah, I mean every college game is different. You never know what's going to happen. You gotta play hard every game.
It was tough, but Menzies just made sure everybody keeping their heads up, going to the next practice like nothing really happened. So once we get to the next practice, the next game, we'll be ready.
This 2016 season for the Rebels includes a completely new roster, including transfer student Chris Clyburn.
I mean, it was our first game as a whole, first regular season game. Everybody got their jitters. Everybody was kind of like relaxed a little bit, but once the game started, we should have got back to how we really play.
Coach Marvin Menzies leaves us off with what to expect for this season.
Listen, we're going to be much better going forward. So if there's any consolation that we started at a place where we could only go up, and we didn't show what we can do, but I know we'll get better. I'm not too concerned about that. That's what we do.
The team just played UC Riverside on November 16th and won 74-62. The record is now 1-1. It's Cal State Fullerton up next, and then on the 19th, Northern Arizona on the 22nd.
And the Lady Rebels face Concordia University Friday night, November 11th, in their season opener. The ladies not only won, but destroyed the Eagles. Shakira Hawkins was there to witness it.
The ladies are here at the Thomas & Mack for a season opener, and they are balling with an amazing performance on both sides of the ball. They did a blowout game for the season opener.
The Lady Rebels faced Concordia University for the season opener on Friday, November 11th, and the Rebels were able to gain a large lead in the first half. UNLV has never lost a season opener under ninth-year coach Kathy Olivier.
Thing as coaches, we wanted to make sure that we moved the ball and we shared the ball, and I thought we did a really good job of that at the start of the game. And then we didn't do it as much, but then we started to at the end of the game. So if we can continue to move the ball and make sure that we get a lot of different touches, we get clean looks, and then good things happen.
Junior guard Dakota Gonzalez was one of the key players early on in the game with 17 points and 4 rebounds.
I think that this definitely gives us a little bit of confidence going into the next game. I think moving forward, we definitely have to still improve on things and tighten things up, and this game kind of gave us an idea of what those things are, so that's good for us, and we're excited to get this next game on Tuesday.
Sophomore forward Parrish Daughter was also another key player early on in the game with 16 points and 10 rebounds.
Excited. We saw that we were at 99 and we knew what play they were about to run, so as soon as we saw Alyssa coming off the stagger, we were excited that she put it up because she's one of our best shooters. We're very happy that we won this game and we're very proud of what we did, but we also know that it's going to get harder and tougher from here, so we're kind of just like, okay, let's celebrate, but let's get focused and get ready for the next game.
The Lady Rebels also had 23 assists. That's a huge number, and I hope that they continue to play like that. For the Rebel Report, I'm Shakira Hawkins.
And a 102-point game is a great way to start the season. The Lady Rebels just got off another victory against Houston, making their record 2-0. Their next game is against USC on November 19th at the Cox Pavilion. And now moving on to soccer, the men's soccer team recently returned home with some extra hardware, a Western Athletic Conference championship, after a 3-day conference tournament in Utah.
The Rebels beat the Air Force 2-1 in the WAC tournament, and that's a hard-earned berth in the NCAA tournament for a team to get off on such a slow start this season. Leonardo Schauer has more.
For the second time in 3 years, the Rebels are headed to an NCAA tournament and a chance to play some of the nation's best soccer teams. November 14th, they returned home to UNLV to find out their place in the bracket and their path to a potential national championship. An ecstatic Rebels team reacted passionately upon hearing the identity of their first opponent in the 2016 NCAA tournament. The Rebels head to familiar territory when they faced the San Diego State Aztecs November 17th. The last meeting between these two ended in a 3-2 victory for the Rebels last year. Junior forward Danny Musavsky, who scored the game-winning goal against the Aztecs, says the team is excited about starting the tournament against a familiar opponent.
We're familiar with this team. We played, like I said, we played them last year. Ended up getting a result when we played them. So it is nice to actually play a team that we actually know a lot of their players and how they play and their tactics.
It was a tough road to the tournament for the Rebels. A slow start to their season makes UNLV the only team in the 48-team bracket with a losing record at 10-11-1. But head coach Rich Ryerson is confident his team has turned its season around and looks for his players to feel comfortable on the road.
This year we struggled. We had a very tough season. We were able to get a fourth place bid in the tournament, and the guys performed over 4 days. So it's actually great to be in the finals right now. No, we've been down there. We've got some guys actually from the San Diego area, so it's I don't think that it's an unfamiliar place, which is going to be important for us. I think we will be comfortable. I think in the environment that's created there.
The winner of the game between the Rebels and Aztecs is set to face the number 6 seed Denver on November 20th. For the Rebel Report, I'm Leonardo Schauer.
Now, this is the 7th time in program history the Rebels have played in an NCAA tournament, but oddly enough, they have never played outside of Nevada or California.
But with a win against the Aztecs, a trip to Denver might be on the schedule for the Rebels.
Now, sticking with soccer, just a week ago, our women's soccer team added a cherry on top to a winning season by winning the Mountain West Conference Tournament. Then it was time for them to move to the next level, so they headed off to BYU to play the Cougars in the first round of the NCAA Tournament.
Lindsay DeValle joins us in the studio after her trip to Provo, Utah. Lindsay?
Thanks, guys. Yeah, it took that 5-hour drive to Provo, Utah on November 11th in order to support our friends on the women's soccer team as they took on the 4th team in the nation. Let's see how it went.
The crowd was big and loud, the weather much colder than Vegas, and the soccer was a battle. Sadly, our girls were taken down in the first round of the NCAA tournament 2-0 by the 4th team in the nation. Nothing to be disappointed about, though, because this game is not one to be forgotten, especially not for the 11 seniors that played in their final soccer game. Junior goalkeeper Jordan Sally and senior midfielder Jordan Magnan spoke about the good over the bad.
I never thought that we would honestly ever get this far. So just these seniors definitely helped lead this team to get to where we are today. Coming off of last weekend was such a high, and I'm proud to have played with them and played with this team as just a whole. I'm happy that we got this far.
It's been an honor for sure. Since I've been here, we've never been here and never even made it as far as we did in the Mountain West tournament. So to have the opportunity to be a part of something like this and come to a place like BYU and play on such a grand stage where they get such a great turnout to kind of end my career with, even though we didn't get the result we wanted, it's definitely an honor to be a part of something like this for sure.
This being the end of official season for the women's soccer team, we all wonder what is next and how this experienced team is going to move on with such a drastic change in players.
I think these seniors have really set the bar high, and they've changed the culture of this program. And so we talked on the field immediately after the game, and I just said, hey, look, the challenge is now for the juniors, the sophomores, and the freshmen to continue that, right? To not let it be a once every 10 years kind of deal. So it's just going to be on the shoulders of those current players now, the returners, to keep those standards high.
Tough loss for our girls, but we can't help but still be so proud of the amazing season they have had. It is sad to see so many seniors go, and they for sure are going to be missed. However, this team is still capable of carrying on this winning tradition. Back to you at the desk.
Thanks, Lindsay. And it definitely seems like this season went by so fast with so many accomplishments. Time flies when you're having fun, and we have definitely enjoyed watching the ladies this season.
The women's soccer team isn't the only one that has wrapped up for the fall. Let's head under the Rebel radar and go to women's tennis. They're finishing up their fall schedule and taking home some more wins before the Thanksgiving holiday. The Rebel Invitational went on over the course of 3 days from November 11th and November 13th. UNLV managed to snag 5 championship titles, 3 singles titles, and 2 doubles titles. The UNLV women's tennis team invited several schools, including Colorado State, North Carolina State, and Texas A&M, SMU, and Purdue. Eileen Zhu took home the Flight 2 singles against opponent Anna Rogers of North Carolina State. Both opponents fought hard to get a lead for the majority of the matches, but eventually Zhu took home the win. Paula Artiga and Anna Bogoslavets took home 2 Flight 2 doubles, and an impressive feat considering they formed just this year.
It's excellent. We're playing together. Like, it's perfect. Yeah, I'm really happy. Like, we are a new couple, so like I was not expecting like big things, but we played really good, so I'm pretty happy. I just try my best, and during the match it's like go up and down, but it's very normal because tennis is always like this, like even one single point can change all the situations. But I just like keep playing, think about next point, and just try my best.
The team is full of dedicated girls who practice nearly every day for 3 hours. This practice will prepare them for future tournament play, which returns in January.
UNLV Volleyball hosts their final 2 games of the season at home. The Rebels beat Utah State on November 10th to continue their amazing season. Here's Barbara Farkas with more.
After 2 tough road losses, UNLV Volleyball looked to right the ship as they took their home court on Thursday, November 10th, against Utah State at the Cox Pavilion. The Rebels came out strong and tallied their 22nd win of the season with a 3-0 sweep over the Aggies. Utah State kept it close in the beginning with a score of 25-22 in the first set, but UNLV dominated the rest of the way with set scores of 25-17 and 25-20.
This is exactly what we wanted to do. After those 2 losses, we decided that it was time that we take hold of our season and push and finish strong. And the seniors, we decided together that we need to do this, and we need to do it for each other and for our teammates and for our program. And that's exactly what we did tonight. It feels good. It's exciting. We're back on track.
UNLV Volleyball extended their win streak to 6 matches against the Aggies and looked to keep the final stretch of their season trending upwards.
We've had a great season so far, and there's absolutely no reason to not finish with a 3-0 at the very end. So that's our plan, and we're going to hold to it.
It's really important for us. We want to win the next 3 matches. That's been our goal all along, so we want to finish strong, and it's always good to be back in Cox.
With this win against Utah State, UNLV now moves into 3rd in conference standings, still trailing Colorado State and Boise State with just 2 weeks left in the season. For the Rebel Report, I'm Barbara Farkas.
Now, UNLV just got back from their final road game of the season against San Diego State and fell 3-0. Now, let's continue the topic as we throw it to Haley for this week's Rebel Report Timeout.
Rebel Report Timeout.
Thank you, Cassie. Joining us now in the studio is volleyball's head coach, Cindy Fredrick. Cindy, thank you for being here today.
Absolutely, thank you.
I know you guys just came off of a loss in San Diego, but other than that, your season has been absolutely phenomenal. You guys have been breaking records and just throwing up W's like there's no tomorrow. So how proud of you are these girls? You had an amazing season.
They've done a really good job. They started out the season with, we scheduled a really tough preseason, and they came through that with just flying colors. So it was great to see, and that's really helped our RPI, which right now is at a 24 in the country. So it means we played a lot of tough competition, and we came away with some good wins, and then our competition came away with good wins too.
So you guys, a couple weeks ago, you were ranked 1st. and now we're tied for third with Wyoming. So did that kind of shake up the girls a little bit?
I don't know. I think it did a little bit because we went from first to fourth in one weekend.
Oh, wow.
And then we went back up to third by ourselves, and now we're tied with Wyoming for third. But I think our schedule bodes better because we have our 2 matches at home, and Wyoming still has to play Boise State, and they have to play Colorado State. So, we're just going to take care of what we can take care of.
Right, focus on yourselves.
Absolutely.
Awesome.
Yes.
So aside from the team having a great season, you are the winningest coach in the program's history. How does that feel?
It probably means I've been here longer than any other volleyball coach has. So.
Well, you're in your sixth season,
yeah,
right?
Yeah, this is my 6th season. So it's really good, and I think speaks volumes to the women that I've had in my program, and they're the reason that coaches win is we have good players.
Right. So you've had a winning season this year. What is different about this team than you would say like previous?
Well, last year all of our kids were in brand new positions, and I think people don't understand how critical that is when you're not an L1 and all of a sudden you are the L1. You're the one that's in the front with the setter and a middle hitter, and then Bree moved from middle hitter to outside hitter, and we just had a lot of changes. We had a middle coming in who had never played with us before, and so we just had a lot of changes. So that took a little bit of getting used to.
Yeah, and that made your girls very versatile then. You could use them in different spots.
It did. Bree Hamill has been here. This is her 5th season because she redshirted. So she's played outside, she's played middle, and now she's playing right side. So a lot of our kids have done a lot of different things.
And Bree Hamill, she's graduating, right?
Yep. She'll graduate in December.
So her and a couple other girls, they're all moving on, but we have a lot of like underclassmen too who have also been doing really well. So what can we expect from them next season?
Well, the good thing is we have Lexi coming back as our setter, and then Ashley Owens will be in the middle, and Elsa DeCamp will be in the middle as well. So that's a pretty solid core there. And then Caitlin will be back, and Josie will be back, and Laura has been playing back row. She's a freshman, so that's good for us as well. And then we have a whole class of freshmen coming in. We have 5 new freshmen coming in.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
I can't wait to see what they're going to do.
We're excited to see what they'll do, too.
And so our seniors are leaving, so every year you have to go through this. You watch these girls grow for 4 years, and you have to let them go, like leave the nest. It's like reverse of like parents letting them go off to college. Now they're finished college. How do you handle with that every year?
Well, I think you do because you have new kids coming in, and as a coach, you got to start preparing right away. These kids we'll miss these guys because they have been with us. We recruited these guys. They were like kind of technically our first recruiting class. And there are 6 of them. So it's a big loss for sure.
Right. So how does the team deal with that every year? Is there some kind of like ending ceremony you guys all do? Or like?
Well, we'll have a banquet on Saturday night after the game with Reno, and then that's when they say goodbye and we say goodbye, and everybody gets kind of teary, but there's also that sense of real pride in what they've accomplished and what they will accomplish down the road as well.
Right, that's awesome. So our next 2 games, they're home games. And I know I spoke to you a couple weeks ago, and you said you were a little ticked off at the fans for not coming out and showing their support to these girls. Are we still ticked off? Or?
Well, yeah, a little bit, because I look at it and say, I don't know what fans want. This is such an exciting game to watch, and I think once you come to a volleyball match and see how exciting it is, you'll come back and you look at them and say they're 22-6. There aren't a lot of teams around that are 22-6, so I would think that people would enjoy coming out to see them play.
Yeah, because we're playing Reno on the 19th.
Saturday, yes.
Saturday, yes. So
Saturday
Saturday
at 2.
19th at 2 o'clock. So be there.
Be there. That's right.
Watch
be there.
these girls play, and then after that, just 2 more home games.
Yeah, we have New Mexico on the following Tuesday.
Right, that'd be the 24th, right?
Yeah, I don't know. You're better at those dates than I am. I'm just like a Saturday and a Tuesday. Yep.
Okay.
So we're looking forward to that, and I think everybody would enjoy. If they come, they're going to enjoy it. I can guarantee them that.
So they'll come, they'll enjoy, they'll watch some sports, then Thursday's Thanksgiving.
That's right. That's right. Then they can sit down and do nothing. They can couch potato after that.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for coming out today.
Absolutely.
And
thank
chatting
you.
with us. Thanks. We're going to send it back over to the desk.
Thanks, Haley. Now it's time for our Outstanding Rebel of the Week segment. This week's winner proving that time off can actually be a great choice. Men's swimmer Tom Paco Padroni came back in full force in 2 meets on November 5th and 6th.
This avid swimmer works hard. Tom Paco Pedroni managed to win 4 out of 5 individual events in dual meets at Utah and BYU.
I feel happy, but at the same time it doesn't mean that much considering we're at the beginning of the year. So I mean, it's always a positive, but at the same time, I still have to go a better time in order to be still top 5 at the end, let's hope.
This is a great accomplishment considering Tom redshirted the 2015-2016 academic year.
I was out for a year for the Olympic year, so I feel like all the hard work I was doing last year during my Olympic year is like paying off now. So that's a good feeling, and just not that happy to have classes, but it's not that bad, so yeah.
Tom is currently tied for the 22nd fastest in the nation, and his 100 free time is ranked 6th in the nation. Congratulations to this outstanding Rebel of the Week.
Tom is currently training for the 2020 Olympic Games while competing at UNLV. Tom and the men's swimming team will be back in action at the Mizzou Invite in Columbia, Missouri from November 17th through the 19th. Now, we here at the Rebel Report understand that everybody lives busy lives and things just tend to fly by, so sometimes we miss stuff.
So with that in mind, here's a new segment called In Case You Missed It.
Hey Rebel fans, in this installment of In Case You Missed It, we're going to talk about championships. In case you missed it or just wasn't paying attention, the Rebels have won 7 collegiate championships since April. The women's golf team, led by junior Alexander Cowie, started off by winning the 5th Mountain West Golf Championship in school history. In fact, Cowie won the individual championship with the largest winning margin in Mountain West history. The men's golf team quickly followed it up with a Mountain West championship of their own. The following week, led by junior John Oda, the men's team captured their first championship in 14 years. And a week after that, on the same day, both the men's and women's tennis teams won their respective Mountain West championships. The men's win shattered Boise State's 4-year run of Mountain West titles, while the Lady Rebels win against the top-seeded Fresno State also avenged their only loss of the season. Now, with these recent November victories in men's and women's soccer, the Rebels have won a total of 7 championships in the past 8 months. The men's soccer team, which play in the Western Athletic Conference, won their 2nd WAC championship in 3 years, while the women's team will go down as one of the best in school history, setting 6 single-season team records, winning both the Mountain West regular season and tournament championship for the first time in school history, and being awarded Mountain West Offensive and Defensive Player of the Year awards, as well as Coach of the Year. So that's what you missed. In case you missed it, for the Rebel Report, I'm Justin Guzman.
The volleyball team was this close to making it 8, but we still have the men's and women's basketball team, so maybe we can add some more to that list. But what a week for Rebel sports, breaking records, winning championships.
Good day to be a Rebel. Good week to be a Rebel.
Yeah.
We definitely hope that they can keep it up for the next 2 weeks because we will not be here next week due to the fact that we will be stuffing our faces. You're going to be stuffing your face Thanksgiving break?
Well, yeah, I don't do turkey, though. I do tofurkey.
Tofurkey.
I save.
What about a turducken?
No. Oh, God, no.
Turducken? No turducken.
No chicken, no turkey, no.
Vegan? Vegetarian?
Vegetarian.
Mashed potatoes.
Yeah.
Be sure to tune back in starting December 5th for our next episode.
And in the meantime, check us out on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram, all at Rebel Report UNLV. And happy Thanksgiving from us all here at the Rebel Report.